Leaders of some 50 nations are in France today, celebrating a moment that some thought would never come: the reopening of the landmark Cathedral Notre Dame. Seth Doane is in Paris.
Those indelible images of a burning cathedral against the Parisian skyline were also burned into our memory. But the heartbreak of that day, when seemingly all was lost, has given way to a resurrection of sorts. With a ritual knocking, the Archbishop of Paris marked the reopening of Notre Dame Saturday night, just 5 years after the fire, unveiling a restoration perhaps as extraordinary as was the destruction itself. At the gleaming Gothic monument, French President Emmanuel Macron hosted world leaders and luminaries, among them Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, Britain's Prince William, and President-elect Donald Trump. Macron triumphant after the successful completion of his audacious 5-year renovation deadline. Last summer, we were granted rare access to the cathedral.
They've been removing the scaffolding, but we're still about 100 feet up in the air.
It's a national challenge.
Philippe Jost was in charge of meeting Macron's deadline.
The schedule, the time, 5 years, but we needed that.
Why?
To mobilize. It's such a challenge, you see, and challenge unified people. We do here things we have never done since 150 years, perhaps. Such a spire to build such big roofs with oak and lead. We were not sure workers would be able.
You know now, but it was a question.
It was a question.
To rebuild, they first had to stabilize the 12th century monument, encasing it in scaffolding. Then 21st century tools, drones, and computer animations were used to study and guide the reconstruction. This they're not calling a sprinkler, but a mister. It's the first of its kind in a cathedral in France. If there were to be a fire in the future, a mist would come out here and help fight that fire. It was among the changes meant to prevent a repeat of the 2019 fire, which investigators believe was an accident.
They put massive metal trusses here to divide the roof into 3 sections, making it less likely for a fire to spread.
Amid such a grand reconstruction, Thomas Lefebvre was among the army of artisans working on the smallest of scales, cutting these decorative lead details for the roof. This is done on site at the last minute.
Yes, all the piece here, it's different, so we have to do handmade.
Everything by hand.
Yeah.
Do you forget where you are? Way up in the air.
No, yes, we forget this.
Around 2,000 people helped rebuild. A foundry in Normandy retuned the bells, which rang out again this weekend. And some scoured forests for centuries-old oak.
They had to find 1,000 pieces of this French oak to rebuild the spire. We're really at the heart of it now. They call this a masterpiece of French carpentry.
Help came from across France. At Guédelon in the Burgundy region, they're building a castle from scratch. And a handful of workers applied skills sharpened here to the effort in Paris.
And the weekend,
Marilyn Martin is co-founder of this experiment-turned-tourist attraction.
French carpenters who want to do the job in Notre Dame call us and come to learn how to cut the wood as the medieval techniques, with the medieval tools.
And at the Mobilier National in Paris, paintings once covered in soot were on display before being returned to Notre Dame. Oriane Levitte was curator.
It was a disaster, the fire, but in some way there is a luck because we have the funds to restore 22 canvas.
Luck, you call it?
In part luck, because it was horrible for all of us, but we could restore all this painting because of the fire and because there is a lot of money to do the restoration.
Nearly $900 million was raised from 150 countries, including around 40,000 donors in the U.S.
You can see the before and after so clearly.
Yes, one of the aims of the exhibition is to show to people the work of restoration on the canvas. And then, after restoration, you have like the revelation of colors.
It is so much more colorful.
The newly cleaned interior of the cathedral is now markedly lighter. In this side chapel, a restorer was retouching where centuries of grime had been removed.
Looking around is incredible. There are these bright colors that have been revealed just from cleaning.
It's true, restorer Charlotte Faluza told us. Everything was black, and by doing a simple cleaning, we could already find the original colors.
Here you will have.
When we first saw the renovation underway, retired French Army General Jean-Louis Josselin was in charge. He pointed out the cavity where the spire once was.
This is the heart of the drama here.
The last time we were here, we were standing just on the other side there, looking down into a gaping hole. That hole was where the spire now stands. It's been completely rebuilt.
The general died in a hiking accident last year. Philippe Jost had been his number 2.
It was a big shock for all of us, but we knew that it was what he would have wanted for us, to continue the work.
How important was it to respect the original, to try to rebuild as close to the way it was as possible?
It's what we owe to this monument.
You owe it to the monument.
You owe it to
make
the
it as
monument.
original as possible?
Exactly.
Jost calls this a monument with a soul. As it opens to the public, this painstaking renovation proves a testament to human innovation, past and present. France's president praised the firefighters, engineers, and craftspeople as he declared the bells of Notre Dame are ringing again.